Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to end the video. There's another paid request, this time for Brian. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, commentaries, whatever it may be, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under the video. And this is for the 2006 film RV. Now, RV, which is this film here, I remember when I got this DVD, is when Robin passed away. I'm like, you know what, it's a time waster, it's fun, it's silly, it's goofy, it's nowhere near a classic, it's nowhere near National Lampoon's Vacation or Christmas Vacation or various other comedies. It's not one of Robin's best. I mean, I would put Jumanji above it. I love Club Paradise, Good Morning Vietnam. But you know what? RV is one of those movies where I wouldn't call it really a good movie. But you know what? Robin Williams, even if it was a paycheck film, he carries the film on his shoulders. And you know what? He got chuckles out of me watching this again. It's directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, who did The Addams Family. He did the Men in Black movies, at least the first three. And it's funny, for a guy who did the Men in Black films, you'd think his career would be much more fruitful, but Wild Wild West didn't help. And then the last film he did was that one 9 Lives. Jesus. So again, he just seemed like a director that would have been much more successful than he came and turned out to be. But this is something where Robin Williams, he works for a company. His boss is Will Arnett. Will Arnett's a guy who's very germophobic, that type of asshole boss. Robin Williams, he got along with his kids back in the day, but now his daughter is a teen who is complete utter unlikable bitch, in my opinion. He has a younger son played by Josh Hutcherson. He's a kid who's white but thinks he's gangsta. He was in this film called Sathura before this, which was pretty decent. And Robin sees that the family's not as close as they used to be. So they don't go on a trip to Hawaii. Well, the boss says, you know what, I need you here at this location, and if you don't, it's going to mean your job. So pretty much they have to go on this. He's wondering what he's supposed to do. He hears some co-workers mention an RV. So he buys an RV and says, hey, we're going to take a family road trip. And hijinks and slapstick and other stuff ensue. Now, Jeff Daniels is in the film. He plays another guy who's an RV owner, and him and his family are much more gung-ho about the whole situation. I thought Jeff Daniels did a good job. Him and the people who play his family seem much more of a likable family than Robin's family. Because that's one of the issues I have with the film. Robin Williams carries this fucking movie on his shoulders. Tremendously. Any part of this movie that's watchable is because of Robin. A little bit of Jeff Daniels, but it's mainly because of Robin. Just Robin Williams just... Maybe I'm being too kind on it, you could say. Maybe I'm being more generous than I should. Maybe I'm being more forgiving than I should. But I just see, even in this type of film, his energy, his timing of comedy, and just the joy. And you see him in interviews and other stuff, and it just... And yeah, this is even one of his best films by far, but it just that... I miss the guy a lot. It's one of the few celebrities when I heard passed away, I teared up. Never knew the guy. Never met the guy. In essence, total stranger. I was so sad and broken up, and because again, he just seemed so fun and funny and likable and charming, and joyful. And then the circumstances of how he died, and what was going on with his brain, and what affected what, and that's what led up to it, and just very heartbreaking, to say the least. And I was saying that one of the issues I have with the film is the rest of the family are very unlikable. The wife, she has some moments that are alright, some moments she just seems a bit too harsh on Robin's character. The daughter, which I know that's the point, the daughter, her and her dad were close when she was a kid, but she's a teen, she's doing teen things, but for the longest time she treats Robin Williams' character so much like a bunch of crap put in a paper bag on fire to a doorstep that someone stomped on and mutilated. I got so aggravating, I just hated the character. Even when she changed her tune in the last, I don't know, 10 minutes, I still hated her character. And the kid, the whole, oh, I'm a white boy, but I'm a gangster, y'all, hey, dog, it just, that's not really something I find that funny. So I said Robin carries his films on his shoulder. You know, whether he's saying lines like, early on in the film, he's talking about his daughter and going, she doesn't want me to be charming, she finds it creepy. And when her daughter, his daughter's friend throws something at his boss at a party and he's horrified by it, and then later they drop the friend off. As the friend goes by, there's a bit where he almost hits her with a car, like split second. He's like, no, don't do it. The wife's like, no, don't do that. Like that little bit I thought made me laugh. Or the way he's talking to his kid and he's like, yo, home slice, did you chill on the Def Jam? And you know, just him acting like a father. When he's talking to his boss, and the boss says you have to cancel the trip to Hawaii, and he literally says, Robin says, listen, if I tell my wife we're canceling Hawaii, you better bury me ass up so you have a place to park your bike. And like the way Robin says that, I thought that was really funny. You better bury me ass up so you have a place to park your bike. Or like when he's talking to his wife and his wife's complaining that they're doing the RV. He's like, we're supposed to go to Hawaii. We're supposed to have our special naps. How we don't have it here? Robin goes, I'll drive real slow. I'll drive slowly. Or even when it talks to the Jeff Daniels family, who they meet, and the wife is at home making $60,000, and Robin says, oh, for what, hooking? It just, like I said, Robin, with the material he's given, he's trying, and I see the effort in him trying, even if it was just a paycheck movie. And if you had, maybe it's not the actor's fault, it's the way they're written. If the other family members were written a bit better, just like Beverly D'Angelo didn't seem insufferable in Christmas Vacation and National Lampoon's Vacation. You know, Anthony Michael Hall served the purpose well in the first Vacation movie. I think if you worked on the writing in the family where, again, the rest of them were not as insufferable and you just hated the way they were treating Robin's character, and then on top of that, you know, some of the slapstick, you have the bit here where it's not quite, it's kind of like that, this bit here. I mean, maybe not that, but kind of this where he's stuck, going back and forth, and he has to rock it. Bit of CGI background, so it's not like the most fluid of scenes. There's a bit where they have to dump the septic tank, and they get people to help, and they don't know what they're doing, so the septet, the poo flies off or hits Robin in the chest, or there's a fountain shoots out and lands on Robin's head and back. There's jokes like that you don't. But it's definitely not as bad as that Vacation reboot, where every 5 minutes it's like, oh, it's funny because Chris Hemsworth, we see his dick through his shorts. Oh, it's funny because they hit a cow and it exploded and gore. Oh, it's funny because they're actually swimming in sewage and poo. And it's like, god damn, man. What was it, 2015, that Vacation reboot? That was garbage. I would much rather watch this than that, because they're still trying to do a little bit more of an endearing heart to it. I don't even know. What is this rated? I can't remember what the rating for this film was. PG. Just PG. And there's little bits of slapstick that are fine. I mean, like the RV has a tendency to the part to break his shot, so it'll roll and it'll hit a bunch of shopping carts, and Robin's trying to get him fixed while he's on the phone, and at the end he's like, by the way, thanks for helping, guys. Because they just stood there. Or there's a bit where they're trying to pass this big old vehicle and he succeeds. It's then like 2 seconds later he's like, oh, we gotta stop for gas. So passing the whole tractor type vehicle was pointless. And there are moments where Robin's trying to be a good dad. There's these bullies like picking on his son, and Robin sticks up for him and gives him some pieces of advice. Him and his wife have a decent moment much later in the film, where she's like, you know what, if after all these years you couldn't tell me you had a problem, I must have been a bad wife. And he goes, so then Robin says, so you admit you're the problem. But it's very good-natured. Like, that was a fun, nice little moment. And that's what I mean, it just, there are little decent moments where you just, nice to see Robin having fun. Like, there's this bit with raccoons in the RV, and he has to go in, and you pretty much just hearing the battle, and you see a little bit of Robin with an umbrella, and or like I think he's got this not tear gas, but this type of gas thing, and he throws like a grenade. It depends how big of a fan you are of Robin Williams. Like, he deserves the big old name here, because he is the make or break for you in this movie. If you don't like Robin Williams, or you don't find his comedy funny, or you didn't care for him in this movie, then I don't see how you could like this movie at all. If you're like me, and you're a fan of Robin Williams, and you just like watching him perform, and you enjoy his infectious energy and him having fun, then to me the movie worked as a time waster. Not a 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 star comedy. It's at least a 3-star movie. I don't know if I could give it 3.5. I'd probably say 3. Just like I said, the family, they're not really that likable. Like I said, to repeat, the kid is gangster stuff, but I could deal with him more than the teen. She was insufferable, this teen. And I don't think it's the actress's fault. It's the way she's written. From after the very opening, where it shows her as a little kid, and then Robin being a dad, goofing off. Boom, when it cuts to she's a teenager, she's insufferable from that minute on. Just complaining and whining and bitching and treating her dad like shit. And almost to the point I didn't buy her turn of events. I didn't buy her changing her tune. It seemed like it's mainly when Robin was talking to his wife and saying, listen, I just don't want to disappoint you guys, and blah blah blah. You guys mean the world to me. And then you have the teen listening, and that's when she changes her ways, but it's like, okay. I get what they're going for, but I didn't. You just made her unlikable for so long that I didn't really care her changing her tune or not. Jeff Daniels, like I say, he's having fun with the role with him and his wife, where they're good-natured people, they mean well, they invite them over to dinner at one point. At one point, Robin Williams' laptop is stolen, and Jeff Daniels and the family find it, because this guy took it, and they throw the guy out. And, you know, the family is never mean or rude or nasty. I don't even see why this family is so mean to Jeff Daniels' family. Like, it makes the family, it makes his family even less likable. Like, at least Robin plays it with a bit of fun and flair, but the other people just, if I didn't like them enough as is, the way they treat Jeff Daniels' family, just, I'm better than you, I just, fuck you. It's like, you know, fuck you, fuck you. It's like Half-Baked. You know, fuck you, you're cool, and fuck you, I'm out, you know. And by the way, for those wondering, the DVD, it has a couple featurettes on set with director Barry Sonnenfeld. I didn't watch them, I should have. There's a director's commentary, a dad reel, JoJo the Pop Princess, I don't know what the hell that is. The Culture of Road Warriors, RV Nation, Robin Williams, A Family Affair, the Scoop on Poop. Come on. Like, that stuff is my least favorite stuff. I'm just not into that poop humor. I just never, well, it'd be farce poop. I just don't find that shit, well, I just don't find it that funny. The direction is serviceable. I mean, nothing really comes to mind one way or the other. Like I said, you watch a comedy, obviously for laughs. Like I said, it depends how big of a fan you are of Robin Williams. That's going to be your takeaway from this. Although, even if you're a big fan of Robin Williams, you might not like it, because it just, you know, he's done better. He has done better. But, I mean, it is a goofy, silly movie. You know, I could be a sucker for road trip movies, because you have so many different variations of locations to hopefully get some laughs out of. But I definitely think, like, if you had a likable cast of characters, and maybe a bit more clever in its writing, a little bit more clever in its creativity and what kind of hijinks they get into during this road trip. Like, the raccoon stuff kind of made me think of The Great Outdoors with John Candy. Other stuff kind of remind me of, like, even when they pass over, that reminded me, what was it, Christmas Vacation at the very beginning? With Chevy Chase trying to pass by, but then the vehicle gets stuck under the semi, and he can't get out. It kind of reminded me of that. So, I mean, I don't know if I would, do I like this or Vegas Vacation more? I don't even know. I would say I like this more than European Vacation, because I never liked National Lampoon's European Vacation. Christmas Vacation, the original, I like better than this. I do think it's better than the 2015 reboot of Vacation. I just try to think of other road trip movies. I'd probably say I like this more than the Martin Lawrence one, College Road Trip. Because I got a little bit more chuckles out of some of Robin Williams' lines in this movie. And it didn't feel like that long of a film either. And instead, I did like Jeff Daniels and his family. I think they even mentioned at one point, we're going to go watch Ernest Goes to Jail. Or, like, one of the Ernest movies. So it's always nice to hear Ernest be referenced. But, overall, this was a time waster. Decent time waster. I had some fun with that. A lot of flaws, but I had some fun with it enough to, I guess, give it a courteous pass. Maybe I'm being too forgiving because I miss Robin Williams so much, but it is what it is. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.